And for more on the upcoming UK referendum, we earlier spoke to Jonathan Paulds, a senior research fellow at the National Institute of Economic and Social Research. We asked him what the economic benefits for the UK if the people vote yes to stay in the EU.
Well, of course, the most important single benefit is the single market, which is not just a free trade area, but an area where goods and to some extent services and capital can flow freely without any regulatory barriers. Now that has contributed quite significantly to the UK's growth, its trade growth over the past 30 years. Trade with the other countries in the EU is very high. We export a lot to them and they export even more to us. So that's one key advantage. Wider than that, there's of course free movement of workers. Now that's a very controversial issue here in the UK, but most economists think that free movement, labour mobility within the European Union has actually been rather good for Britain. We've benefited from a supply of relatively skilled, motivated workers who want to come here and contribute to our economy. So those, I think, are among the key benefits as well. Investment, partly because we're in the single market, the UK has actually done very well out of investment from outside the EU. Japan, China, the US, people want to invest here because they have access to the single market. There are, of course, disadvantages. So, for example, the UK is a substantial net financial contributor to the European Union. We pay in significantly more than we get out. And that's because a large part of the European Union's budget goes on the common agricultural policy, and we get considerably less out of it than some other member states like France and Italy. And moreover, the common agricultural policy doesn't just take our money, it's actually quite bad for consumers in the UK. It puts up prices higher than they would otherwise be. So that's one downside. And then there's a more contested area, which is that of over-regulation or red tape. Some people in the UK think that the European Union does too much. It's too bureaucratic. It tries to interfere too much in how businesses work, in things like working hours, for example, the 48-hour working week, in health and safety regulations and so on.